Hey guys, JJ here, and with the release of Resident Evil 7's DLC and promotion coming to a close, Capcom will soon begin to shift focus on the Resident Evil 2 Remake. While we all wait eagerly for some news, I thought this would be the perfect time to discuss what we would like to see from the remake and how it should be handled. So with that being said, let's get right into it.
Resident Evil 2.
Over the past couple decades, we've seen many different styles of Resident Evil, from the original tank-controlled fixed-angle games to a more action-focused, over-the-shoulder play leading to a more immersive first-person horror experience. It's no wonder why the community is split on how the Resident Evil 2 remake should be handled. This seems to be a very controversial subject within the Resident Evil community, and before we get into it, I would like to clarify that I'm not speaking on behalf of all the fans out there. I run a Resident Evil-focused YouTube channel that covers topics about the Resident Evil 2 remake, and I see a lot of opinions on a daily basis. I'm giving a general consensus on what I see in the comments. Reading over everyone's opinions and preferences, there seems to be three main styles people want to see. The first style of remake is to keep the game completely as it was originally, but with HD visuals. This would mean the game would play entirely as it was originally, but this time around with HD textures, enhanced lighting, and particle physics, etc. The best example of this actually comes from the Resident Evil community. YouTube user Rod Lima has completely remade Resident Evil 2 using Unreal Engine. Everything here is preserved, including the fixed camera angles. It truly is an incredible, well-done fan remake. I can see where people are coming from here. Resident Evil 2 was a masterpiece, in my opinion, so many are worried that adding anything to the game could take away or ruin the overall experience. They feel it's best to play it safe and just update it for modern consoles. I myself can say that while playing through the Resident Evil 1 remake, there was part of me that wished the game was closer to the original. Hear me out. Though the Resident Evil 1 remake was superior in almost every way, there was something special about the original game that seemed to get lost with the remake. Gone was the campy, goofy dialogue.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
The vibrant color palette of the Spencer Mansion was also swapped out for a more realistic, darker atmosphere, and Crimson Heads were added as a new challenge, but at times felt like a burden. Little things like that are the reason why some don't want any changes. Though this is the safe way to go about remaking the game, it isn't necessarily a remake, but more of a remaster. The next remake style I see from the community, and this seems to be where the controversy arises from, is to remake the game similar to Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was a milestone in the series' history. Some say it saved the franchise, while others say it was the death of Resident Evil. Regardless of opinions, we can all agree that it ushered in a massive audience to the Resident Evil franchise and is a major reason why there is so many fans out there that would actually like to see a completely new take on Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 4 offered a new style of gameplay that was focused more on faster-paced combat, holding off hordes of enemies, and a well-balanced upgrade system that kept the game flowing smoothly. This group of fans would like to see an over-the-shoulder camera system added to the remake while adding an upgrade system similar to the one in Resident Evil 4. It's not only the new fans I see that want this style added, but surprisingly, a lot of classic fans that just want to see a new take on the original Resident Evil 2. We've seen something similar to this with Invader Studios' project titled Resident Evil 2 Reborn. This leads us into our third style of remake, and the one that the majority of fans would like to see, including myself, a Resident Evil 2 remake in the exact same style as the Resident Evil 1 remake. The Resident Evil 1 remake was the perfect example on how to properly remake a game, and is the major reason why fans began asking for a remake of Resident Evil 2 in the first place. The remake offered new rooms and puzzles, but still kept the essence of what made the game a classic, and that is exactly what the majority of us would like to see with 2. Bring back the amazing atmosphere of the Raccoon Police Department with a few added rooms that offer new exploration for old fans. Maybe we can explore a little bit more of the labyrinth streets of Raccoon City. Let's see a return of the amazing soundtrack that gave us goosebumps and sent shivers down our spines. Maybe they can be remastered in a way that enhances the experience rather than changing it, similar to the soundtrack of the Resident Evil 1 remake. Mix it up a bit and add some new puzzles that offer a challenge for new players and old. We could always use more puzzles. Bring back the A and B scenarios along with the extra modes that added hours worth of replay value and kept us coming back for more. Typewriters are a must. Don't make it easier for new fans and give us checkpoints. A big reason why the original Resident Evil games were so great was because of an incredible system of risk and reward. Sure, it was more difficult when you died and had to go all the way back to your last save, but that brought on a new level of strategy and made it all the more rewarding when the player finally made it past the difficult part in a game. If we could do do it when we were kids, then I'm sure new players can do it now. Don't hold our hands. Leon Kennedy has become the action star of the Resident Evil franchise, but Resident Evil 2 is where it all began for him and Claire, so don't add in a ton of nonsense action BS. A big reason why players felt so invested in Leon and Claire as characters were because they seemed like real people hurled into an unbelievable situation, and through the game you watch as they overcome obstacles in a believable way. Please don't make them action heroes that are invincible. Don't add in any weapon upgrade system similar to Resident Evil 4. Sure, it was a very enjoyable system, but it worked in 4's world and wouldn't fit in with Resident Evil 2. Keep it in the same style as finding weapon upgrades as you progress throughout the RPD. For the love of God, don't add in quick time events. I'm pretty sure I don't need to cover that, but just in case, don't do it. Bring us a new style of enemy that offers a new challenge to the game similar to Crimson Head zombies in the Resident Evil 1 remake. Like I said before, if you don't burn the bodies, zombies could become Crimson Heads, and if you don't take care of them then they become Lickers. That's a great challenge and offers a whole new way to play. I know this ship has sailed already, but it's worth mentioning. If we could get the original voice actors back, that would be excellent as well. Allison Court is to many fans the one and only Claire Redfield, and Paul Haddad had the perfect voice for a young Leon S. Kennedy. If we get new voice actors, I'm sure they'll do great, but it's not the same. And last but not least, and I'm sure we can all agree when I say, can we get a goddamn bathroom in the RPD? A massive police station and not one bathroom? Seriously, do people piss on the floor? Come on. Jokes aside though, we all just want to see a good remake. Resident Evil 2 is such a big part of so many people's lives, including myself. It's the reason why I love horror. It's the reason this channel exists. In many ways, it made me who I am today, and that's why it's such a big deal to so many. People say the Resident Evil 2 community has grown toxic, and I'd have to disagree. I don't see toxic people here. I see passionate fans. I guess you could say we just don't want to see Resident Evil 2 become something it's not. With that being said, I'm curious to know how you would like to see Resident Evil 2 remade. Do you agree with what I had to say? Did I miss anything? Are you a fan of keeping everything as is, or do you want to change it up a bit and make it like Resident Evil 4? Are you a fan of the style of the Resident Evil 1 remake, or do you want to see Resident Evil 2 done in VR like Resident Evil 7? Let me know down in the comments, and let's try to have a good discussion about it. Please don't hate on somebody because their opinions differ from yours. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It really helps out a ton. And for more Resident Evil 2 discussions, news, giveaways, and much more, hit that subscribe button and become a member of the Residents of Evil. The Residents of Evil is a Patreon supported channel, so if you would like to help support the show, you can get a lot of really cool perks in return for doing so. You'll have your name here in the credits. You'll also get access to our Discord channel, early access to content, and much more. So if you want to check that out, head over to patreon.com/RONetwork. Link will be down below. You can follow the Residents of Evil on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Links will be below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back at the Residents of Evil.